The fear paradox. Let's talk about how to get out of your comfort zone to supersize and grow your business. And I will contend, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, with Supersize Your Business and this year's annual challenge, the BU 365-day challenge. We're doing one thing every day that improves us. And for a couple of weeks in October, we are focusing on paradoxes. So today we're talking about, and we talked about already, the fear paradox, which basically says the more you're afraid to do something, the more scared you are to do something, the chances are the more you should do that thing. So the more afraid you are to do something, the more afraid you are to do something outside your comfort zone, that's probably the exact thing you need to do. Now, that's not always the case, right? We have a fear mechanism in us to keep us from doing things that are crazy, like jumping off buildings or going into super bad neighborhoods where we might get shot or robbed, etc. But for the most part, if we listen to our intuition, something that makes us just a little uncomfortable, those are probably things that we need to do. I have found that literally hundreds and hundreds of times, if not thousands, throughout my life and throughout my career, both in corporate America and in owning and operating my different businesses. So it's kind of like I was talking about the rubber band. A rubber band is like our comfort zone. It starts out a certain size and shape, yet we can stretch it any direction we want, and the more we stretch it, the more we push the sides of it, the bigger and better and more expansive it gets. And rubber bands, just like us, we're designed to stretch and grow and expand and become more and better versions of ourselves. So this idiom, I guarantee we've talked about out of my comfort zone before, or out of your comfort zone, as part of our idioms. It's one of my favorite idioms and one of my favorite topics, actually. Why? Because I need to always be reminding myself I need to stretch and get out of my comfort zone. For the longest time when I was younger, I had a goal and objective to be comfortable. And what comfortable meant for me was a certain amount of money, a certain lifestyle for myself and my family. And I realized one day that that was such a small, teeny goal and an idea of how I should show up in the world. And then I started to learn more and expand and realize I can make a lot bigger impact. I can be a much better person if I don't just stay comfortable. It's really easy and comfortable to stay comfortable. That's why we have the word comfort and comfort food and comforty, soft, cozy blankets when it's cold and wintry or rainy, depending on where you live. This idiom, comfort, actually came about and started to become a topic in the 13th century. But Alistair White actually hypothesized that in order for people to achieve things and to be high achievers, they had to get out of their comfort zone. They had to stretch that rubber band. They had to do something that they'd never done before, or they had, well, and a lot of times to get awesome at something, we have to do something that we haven't done before, or once we try it and do it, we have to do it over and over and over and over again and keep practicing and pushing toward it before we get good or master it. Out of our comfort zones, an American idiom from the mid to late 20th century. So it's been around my whole life. And it originally had to do with temperature. People would work, and you probably from time and motion studies or something, people would perform in a certain way that was expected in a physical temperature. So if you were studying, for example, or if you were looking at or expecting people to behave in a certain way, depending on what the temperature was, people would behave in one way. If it got too hot or too cold, they would behave in other, usually predictable ways. And this transferred to psychology, and psychology started to say it had something to do with our state in which a person feels familiar and comfortable and in control. They have a steady level of performance when they're in your, we always have a steady level of performance in our comfort zone. In our comfort zone are the skills and abilities and the things that we do that we just do naturally and we're very good and proficient at. Outside of our comfort zone are usually things that we've never done before. Guess what? If you want to start a business, if you want to grow a business, if you want to supersize a business, there are probably things that you need to do every single day that stretch your comfort zone. Maybe it's picking up the phone and making that call to that person that you're afraid to talk to. Maybe it's doing speaking, public speaking. In corporate America, I figured out pretty early on that if I wanted to advance through the ranks, I needed to become proficient at giving presentations, giving speeches. I became a PowerPoint whiz. I could create PowerPoints in an hour for thousands of people. So there's certain skills that I knew I wasn't comfortable speaking in corporate environments, especially the higher up in the organization, the less comfortable I felt, but I knew I had to get good at that. So I practiced and practiced and practiced and got good at it. Same is true with other things. Like when I came online, I was scared to death, like so many other people, pretty much everybody, to hop on and do live videos. And now I do them every day. And why am I comfortable doing them? Because I do them every day. So, love to know, what is something that you've had to do that was outside your comfort zone as you're building and growing and supersizing your business? Share in the comments below as little or as big a thing as you are willing to share, because we can all learn from one another. That's it. Have an awesome day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. I don't know how, I'm going to find some way to stretch my comfort zone today, and I invite you to do the same. Have a great day. Bye. See you tomorrow.